Okay, finally gonna do an aftermath video from the state fair, literally a month ago. Less than a month ago, but still. As you can see, the bumper's holding up nice. It is fully seam welded. Just the corners are bending around because there ain't much structure there. And the biggest issue up front, as you can see, is the whole core support and hood is pushed back. I have to pull that out. I've already scrapped the radiator because I needed the money. And you can see with the core supports top bowed down, but it hit the radiator, but barely, as you'll see in the probably the on-car cam or maybe even the derby video. I got a nice hot steam bath that lasted way too long because it was just a small hole, so it just sprayed out and had enough in the bottom of the radiator to keep going. Never got hot. The fan got pretty destroyed. Probably still just straighten it and put it back on. Anyways. And gonna need to cut those horrible, flimsy steel fender liners don't ever hold up very well. That's the side that always rips. And the fenders, you can see the fender on that side's turned around. Climb off the trailer now. Got a different wheel on it because the wheel got super bent. It locked on the brake caliper, but it was still going. You can kind of see how I've lost some clearance since the corners are pushed around. I'll have to do something about that. It's kind of, whole front end's kind of pushed down too. It's kind of coming down that way. But anyways, back fender wheel. I thought I bolted these on there. I guess I forgot that I was going to run a bolt. If you can run a bolt, bend the fenders in, and we'll run a carriage bolt into the interior, but I think I forgot to do that. Took only one really good driver's door hit. That is why I got second instead of third. Well, that's what I'm told anyways. And this is still held up pretty good since you saw me repair it. It's almost the same place where it was. Rim took some damage. Still holding there. The only issue I'm having is, may have mentioned earlier in other videos, that this car was clipped. And it's getting smashed up to where you can't see it. It's actually not even attached anymore. It's just pushing this whole trunk area. It's not even really attached to the car anymore. So it's just pushing it forward as opposed to folding in. I'll just have to take a hammer and pack all that in that way. How you can see, I've already cut a ton out, which I don't normally like to do, but I had no choice to get to the derby, so. And other than that, it's folded in good. I should have tucked a trunk. This is the section I should have tucked. There you go. You wonder why you tuck a trunk? Well, there you go. It popped out this way because it wasn't tucked. It's kind of hard to tell without the bumper, and I'll show you why it has no bumper, but yeah. But I could still get this to lay over and in. But if it would have been tucked just that much, that would already be packed in and probably would have went in faster. No, I guess it ain't too hard to tell. I had to cut the tar out to get the bumper off to get it on the trailer because it was pointed out that way. But anyways, I was dumb. I just welded the sides thinking, oh, it's just a rear bumper. It's not even needed. It'll hold on, but no. It actually was still pointed that way. That's how bad it twisted before it came off. And you can see the angle of this bumper shock, why the bumper was pointing that way. It should be way over here. And it's the first time, but then again, this car was repaired by somebody, so this is probably the body shop's lovely plug welds or something they did. They probably didn't section the floor because I didn't see nothing in the floor, so this is probably where they sectioned it, besides putting the quarter panels on. So of course that ripped loose. Or that's still in there. You can see where the bumper should have been, except for this is the side that broke off. You can see, look, I didn't even weld it that good, and I only welded in a few spots, so that's why. I keep tearing, even though I did this right by so many people's book, but kept tearing it, so I welded it And that one's bending, but it's bending a little weird because of that, but still. And it's already, you can see it's already tearing too. This one hasn't started the bend, but then again, that was the only one that still had a bumper attached to it for a while. Shock, bolt fell out. You can see it's bent. So obviously one bolt fell out, and it was held on with one bolt for quite a while. Get in there and you can see how bad the upper control arm is damaged. So the rear end is shifted over to that side. I got a giant gap right there, and that's about it. Shot the drive shaft out for this reason and my own stupidity. I didn't weld it enough. I was a little worried. The new welder will melt 1/4-inch steel like nothing, like you're welding sheet metal. So I was a little leery to use it, and I did. And I didn't weld it enough. So next time I'll just weld it till everything's on fire and melting giant holes in everything. Drive shaft's still good. They stopped me before I beat it up too much, so it looks like it's still straight. We won't know until we put it on the car, and if it vibrates like hell. That was why the drive shaft was kind of slapped together. The first drive shaft I've ran way too many times. I thought, oh, it's still fine. Threw it in the car. It was when I had it in the shop on jack stands, and I ran it, and the car just doop, 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 and I got underneath it and literally had 9 inches. The drive shaft was that bent. Drive shaft is going like huge. I was like, oh, well, that ain't gonna work. So now I'll get on the worst side of the car. This side did better than that side. It held up. It packed in better. Here's where you can see it was sectioned, but it's working fine. A little rust up here is making it go kittywampus. This section here, for some reason, ain't bending. It's kind of going straight in, so that's probably what's going to happen. You can see the tire sticking out. That's still not looking bad. I never did nothing with that, so that's normal. But took a huge shot in this door. Everybody's always saying, "Oh, that's cheating. That's too much." Well, didn't do a dang bit of good. So there's an idea of how far the door is bent in. Plus, if you can get in here, my door bar is just annihilated. It's up against a tranny cooler. Can't see because there's a damn bar. I haven't taken anything out from the fair, as you can see. So pretty much everything's in there. There's the drive shaft. There's the rub mark. Hopefully it's not bent. And that is about it. That's the worst of it. This tire seems like 20-30 derby, so that ain't bad. This is my look, I ain't cheating hole. In some cars you'll find, hey, there's angle iron in here. There's nothing in here. That's the inside of the fender. There's the welds you can see from welding the hood to the fender. Nice giant gaping hole. Look, I creased it. This side looks a lot better. The corner's still pushed in, but it's a lot farther from that tire. This tire looks all cattywampus because like the other one that was bent, this one's also bent, but it rolls, who cares? Good to go. There you go. Just an idea of what happened to Master Blaster. It's still fine. You might wonder why that tire leans that much. It went under the, looked like it went under, bent under the spring pocket, so it's like permanently lifted up high now. Yeah, that's what happened. Bad thing about that, it had to be corrected because a lot of strain on that ball joint there and will eventually break it if it hasn't already weakened it, because that angle does not look good. Nothing bent in the tie rods, so no lower control arm, the ball joint popping out or anything like that. So we're not too bad. Engine runs strong. Frame's still real straight. The only place it has bent, it's bent on this side at all. This thing's got kickers in it, which is legal here, sort of. It's legal when they say it is, and it's not legal when they decide to change the rules again. I don't know if you can see it. No, of course not. Maybe in here. No, but this kicker is actually bent. It's actually bent the kicker when the frame started coming in. But that's about it. Lost my shifter pin and had a wrong size bolt in it. That was a nightmare. Shifted on the third night. Plus it's out of. I put it on the car, or I put it on the transmission, adjusted it properly, and then I put it on the car wrong. I thought, well, it ain't shifting right. And what it was I had not cut. I'd missed a piece of sheet metal somewhere, and it was stopping the shifter from moving. And I thought, no, it's out of adjustment, and didn't check that it was just rubbing on something. So now it's even more out of adjustment because it was right and now it's wrong. Good example of how smashed in that door bar is. You can see it better up against the tranny cooler. That kicker is still in. You can see where the rules had changed. Like, yeah, you gotta cut it out. No, you can have it. So now it's sectioned back in, angle iron on it. But anyways, even my camera mount took a beating. I lost the strap to it. But there you go. Good shot of the door. And that is pretty much it. It will be run again. Tranny's fine. Everything's fine. Bumper is spotless. You can almost call it a not ran bumper because it hasn't hit anything really. So, and I guess that'll be it. See ya.